Star Trek Lower Decks, Season 5, Episode 4, A Farewell to Farms is over, but we're just getting started here on Live Long and Podcast for our live stream review here on Facebook, YouTube, and on Twitch, or you might be listening to us on the audio version. I'm Dave Mader, and we're going to break down this episode and talk all about it. Spoilers ahoy if you have not seen the episode yet. And we got a great panel here to break it all down with you. We got Chris Murphy with us, also known as the World Mind.
Talk!
I am a human filled with words.
Yes, you're a human filled with words. Here's the man who might have to experience beige. It's Davan Skelhorn.
You experience beige.
You experience beige. All right. And coming in last, of course, he's been with us before. It's Justin Velociraptor.
Hey, everybody. How's it going?
I'm doing well. Are you coming from the Bloodwine Vineyard?
I am coming straight from the Bloodwine Vineyard.
Got so much to say about that.
A little tipsy about that, but it's got to be fresh.
Yeah, it's got to be fresh. This is like 2-week-old gah, and not in a good way. So we're gonna break it all down. This was a Klingon themed episode, but it was also had a B storyline with Miglamo and the what are they called? The species, the Cloakians or something?
Yeah.
The Cloakins. Which is, I love it.
Like cloaca.
Cloakins. Yeah, of course. Anyway, just coming in, I really enjoyed this.
It was amazing.
It was a lot of fun. I think your mileage may vary depending on how much you like the Klingon lore and all of like that kind of stuff, but for somebody who does have a lot of appreciation for it, this was loaded with it, and I thought the stuff with Miglamo was also hilarious, but differently. So let's jump into, unless anyone wants to say anything first, but we can run through what happened in this episode in a timely fashion, hopefully.
I will say super strong A and B plots. Like
I thought so, yeah. Like I asked Jane what she thought, and she said it wasn't holding her interest, but Jane is not as much into the Klingon stuff.
This might be an all-time great for me. From
for me too.
Decks.
For me too. So let's break it all down as we begin on Kronos, of course, the Klingon homeworld, and we catch up with Ma. Is his name Ma? I believe it's Ma.
Ma, yeah.
Ma. Who we first met in Wej Douge along with Talin. He was, of course, a big part of the last season. The inner fight, I think, was where we last saw him. And we find out he's no longer a captain of his own ship. He's
experiencing beige.
He's experiencing beige. He's back on his family farm chasing down targs.
Targs.
Yeah.
They get bigger than that. Let's just say.
Well, we'll find out about that. Yeah, exactly.
I get so much to say already about all this Klingon stuff. Like, we've gotten more about Kronos in this episode than in the rest of Star Trek history. As far as filling in how things work, and what we get bloodwine explained, we get like farming explained, farming of Gach. We get like targ handling. We get like in all these rituals and stuff later that come. Like this whole episode is just filled with so much Klingon lore, It's
A
amazing.
bit better than the 3 matte paintings of Konos we had in TNG.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
No, there's
That
a lot
one
going
set
on here.
of the council chamber.
Yeah, we get to see like that governing council. There's also what was it? The warrior pit. It's a chain. We find out.
Which I loved that.
Yeah. We also meet Ma's brother, who I don't know if we get his name in the episode or not.
I think we do.
It's Malor, I believe.
Yeah. When Mariner asks who this tall hunk of whatever is.
Tall drink of milk or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. But Molor wasn't that Kaelus's brother?
No, it's spelled a little different.
Spelled differently. Okay. But he's not like his brother at all. He's a farmer. He doesn't have that like I am a warrior. And he's more like whatever.
Bit of an oaf.
But like more laid back and casual. But still Klingon.
I love what he's doing to this ship, though.
He's adding tusks to it to make it look more fearsome. And he's tying them onto the ship.
From the bush devil he killed.
Yeah, exactly.
He ran over.
Very honorably ran over.
Very honorably.
Yeah. Exactly.
Man, how big is a bush devil? Like, what the hell is a bush devil? Now I want to know what a bush devil is. Look at
Now
the
we need
jaw.
to see the bush devils because that's
that looks like that's not tusks. That's a jaw. There's teeth.
Right.
Like,
So
like,
it's
like,
as big
this
as
thing
that
is huge.
giant Hard, yeah. It was very honorable when I ran over it. Ma not so impressed with his brother's account here. Yeah, there he is going about his honor. And then we see that Ma gets a communique here from Starfleet, but he's not too excited about it. He's actually quite the opposite, and he kind of goes off. He doesn't want his brother to know that. We don't get a normal title sequence. This is they've done this before on the show. There was the mathematically perfect redemption and a couple other episodes in the past seasons where they bypass that. We get a really beautiful score over this title card that I really like music wise was enjoying. I think
it's like a mix of the Klingon theme and the Lower Decks theme.
Yeah.
Look at this beautiful vineyard.
Right. If you can call it a vineyard, I guess. Like,
well, it's set up like the trellises are set up like it's pretty hilarious how they make it look like a vineyard, but they're just watering worms.
Right.
Yeah.
See that? Yeah.
But look how go back one shot again. Look how friggin' desolate this fucking place is. Like, there's not a plant to be found.
Right.
That's why they eat worms.
They eat worms.
Yeah, I guess so.
They're mostly, well, they're an omnivore, but Klingons are definitely protein meat focused, I'd say. And yeah, we see the worms in the ground here. That this is what they're farming. I guess you have to give them food. Here in the farm. Davin, you know a lot about farming.
They need organic nutrients. Like you can throw any kind of thing. So just probably throwing their own food scraps and whatever else.
Right.
I imagine the water
just
here
over the
is to entice them to come to the surface.
Right.
Well, you wouldn't want to put meats in there. That wouldn't be good. So maybe not their food scraps.
Mm-hmm. And then this is basically where you
amazing.
So
didn't see this coming. I thought they were farming gawk, like they were just making gawk.
No.
Yeah.
And then you see this.
Yeah, so they're taking the
Blew my
blood of
mind.
the worms, the blood of the ga, and they're putting it in vats, and that is eventually being crushed up with the feet, like you would make, grape wine, and then we get the
Blood wine is blood. We never got that answer. Until now.
It's worm blood, more specifically.
Think of how much worm blood Sisko and O'Brien and Odo were drinking on that mission.
A lot. A lot.
That's a lot of blood.
And it's alcoholic. So
they ferment the blood. Like it must smell horrible.
Horrible. Oh. Yeah. But
how the humans stomach it like they do is amazing.
Yeah, we see here that
it's probably like kimchi or something, or like or not kimchi.
Kombucha.
Kombucha.
Ma's very contemplative. He's drinking his blood wine, sort of in his lonesome here. And then I think we see the shuttle approaching from a ways. We get our title card, or the title of the episode, Farewell to Farms. with them loading up blood wine, I guess, to take to a customer, I would imagine. And then again, we see the Starfleet communique come up on the shuttle. The brother says, "What's with the Starfleet calling you?" We see Mariner shows up in this episode just for Ma to throw a dagger through the screen. And, why is a human calling you? Huh? Never mind. We go to the Klingon First City. We saw this, the matte paintings that Justin alluded to from TNG, but it's a bit of a different angle. The Great Hall of there, of course, and and all these subterranean levels that are kind of below the street level, right? There's kind of the main street, and then there's all this sort of underground stuff as well.
I think that underground stuff is the actual street. I think that's the street.
Well, I think there are streets,
walkways and pedways for ships to land and stuff up here. I think when you see the streets of, we do see the streets of Kono sometimes, and it's always red lit and murky. I'm pretty sure that's the streets down there.
Well, yeah, I guess. I suppose is down. I don't think they use flying cars, right, in this world.
No.
So
they don't even seem to use cars. In Kono's people just seem to walk everywhere, from what we can tell.
Yeah. Or they have little ships and shuttles. I guess this is an example of those lower street levels.
We saw the hover bikes earlier.
Yeah, the hover bikes. We'll get to the Experience Beige and all that. And we see that
they do have hover bikes. You're right. Never
the
mind.
brother of
everything
Ma
back
here, he's always
said.
on his he's always playing a video game or something like that. He's one of those, I guess he's playing.
Oh no! Look what it is. It's friggin' Galaga or whatever, or Galaxia, but with a bird of prey.
There you go.
That's amazing.
Oh. Okay, so then, this guy gets thrown out of the bar. Guys, I'm forgetting this part, but the brother crashes into it. They go to the bar, the Warriors pit, where everyone's axe throwing, basically.
These crawlers are too sober to fight.
These guys are too sober to fight. Yeah, I guess this is where they're bringing the blood wine. There's a customer. Of course, we got some Klingon acid punk going on stage.
Oh, I friggin' paused it on these instruments just to friggin' take that in.
What is this guy on the left playing?
He's playing a violin, basically.
Okay.
It's just like a very thin violin. And the guy next to him's playing, obviously, some weird accordion. And the guy next to him is playing like a harp. They actually give it a name. Like someone later, they say what that's called. And the guy, then the next guy's playing like a saxophone, but it doesn't seem to have any sound holes or buttons or anything. So it's like he just blows into it and goes like that. But I don't know. It's crazy looking. Yeah, that's the one I paused on forever. But later
this almost looks like a Vulcan lute.
Yeah,
Vulcan Lear.
It was like an electric lute or something like that.
No, she gives it a name later. It's like some weird Klingon word.
Right. But yeah, and see Ma delivering it here. What were these? Why were these guys giving them the death stare?
Oh, because
they were too sober.
They were too sober. Yeah,
too sober.
They're just angry.
Then we see this woman come up, Klingon woman. She says to Ma, "Oh Ma, I heard you were a captain of your own ship." I guess she's like a former love interest. She has, of course, the boob window that Mariner.
You gotta have a boob window.
You gotta have a boob
crawled
window.
up her boob window.
Yeah. And she kind of throws Ma down, but they seem to have a good relationship. She's here to see the Vulcan Lear player, whatever the Klingon version of that is, or something like that. And she's like, "Tell me about you being a captain." But then we find out he is no longer a captain. He's been removed for the mutiny on his ship. And my favorite was here with the brother, where he's like, "Yeah, you." Well, the whole family was shamed.
The whole family was shamed. It was hilarious.
Totally power mock blocking.
He's not a captain anymore, actually.
Yeah, my brother's. We see a lot of Klingons too in this episode without beards, or just scruff, or not fully whatever, which is a bit unusual too.
Speaking of scruff, we see Boimler's stash growing in pretty thick.
It's coming in. He's trying to grow it. So he's
probably taking Rogaine or something like that.
Right, but then Mariner and Boimler show up, right on cue here as he's continuing to try to grow that thing. The Klingons are like, "Who are the humans? And why? This woman that was talking to Ma is, not too impressed that he's friends and fraternizing with Starfleet officers. That's to be frowned upon." Diana Tay wrote this episode. I gotta write that down.
Sounds new.
I think she is new. Yeah. And who directed this? Megan Lloyd, who's definitely not new. So
No.
Okay, sorry. I was looking for that earlier, but I couldn't find it. So Ma is quite rageful here.
We just lost Dave, did we? Well, take
She
over.
was so
So
rageful that she completely
they hang
took
out in the
Dave off
bar.
the surf.
for a while, and
Yeah, she was not happy about the boob window comment.
Hey, you got to call a boob window when it is what it is. Anyway, so sorry guys, I hit the back. I exited on my browser there. So she's here to talk to Ma, but then we get so we'll come back to that. We get our second storyline here on Praxin 4 with Miglamo and Tendi and Rutherford. As we're bringing aboard some Cloacan dignitaries. I don't even know if we knew that Miglamo was Cloacan until this episode, but if we didn't, it is named here.
we learned so much about them in this episode too. This episode is really chock full. I could have took another half hour of this.
Of the Cloacans, who they're fast.
Oh, and the whole episode, the Klingon stuff too. But yeah,
Right. We find out that the Cloacan nobles are some form of food critics because they invented warp drive to discover strange new meals.
We Cloacans invented warp travel in the hopes of discovering strange new meals.
Is
that true? I thought there was like some other dude that invented warp travel. Or
no, each
I'm
species
thinking of-
invents it
Every
for
species
themselves.
had to invent it, or discover it, I suppose.
No, okay, all right.
Prime
yeah,
directives
no.
prohibit.
I think what
sharing of
happened
such
there
things.
is when I heard that sentence, my brain thought of transporters, and I got really confused because I was like, no, wasn't there a dude in Enterprise that was like attributed to creating transporters? And I thought that's what he meant. I didn't realize he was talking about warp technology. So,
But
okay,
every
thank you for bringing
species,
that.
many species presumably had to invent their own transporters too, right?
Yep.
So,
That's why they make weird sounds. The Ferengi ones go bow.
exactly. Boimler is nerding out back here in the Klingon bar. He's so excited that this is the what do you call it? The pit here, the Kalis pit
Warriors
here.
pit?
No, it's the
battle
Experience
pit.
The right of unending pain. I know I have it here. Where is it? Boimler. Here.
You play games with death, little
No,
warrior.
that's not it.
I like it.
That's sorry. Oh, here it is.
Yay! I can't believe we're in the warrior pit. This is the bar where Martok killed 12 Urepu.
No, that warrior pit is in the Cathalolans. It is a chain.
Still exciting.
Still exciting. As Mariner says, does Mariner explain why she's here? She's looking up a first space hole. Yeah.
But yeah, she explains.
It's all
that
part of her
around the
master
end.
plan to get a captain in a ship to go
Yeah.
look at holes.
Yeah, that's all explained
Look
at the end. though.
Space holes.
It's a cool space hole. The brother here. And so yeah, she wants to help him get back his ship. He's kind of willing to do it, but begrudgingly. But we'll find out later it's because he doesn't want to serve under a corrupt leader, but we don't know. That's not fully explained here. We see that Boimler is just getting thrown around in the background, and he's just loving every minute. This is Klingon as F for him. and-
Klingon just threw me.
yeah, I think they really accepted me now. Badass. So fun times here with Boimler. He's going. I think that there's another cutaway from this scene here, where we go back to Miglamo and them. Yeah, he says, "You watch it there, Boimler."
Yeah, it's pretty great. Klingon bar. I like it. So much
yeah.
Klingon stuff. It's amazing.
I wonder if the reason Boimler is so focused on Klingons right now has something to do with that pad he stole from bearded Boimler.
Maybe, but I think it's also just because he loves embracing this Klingon stuff,
Yeah, he's like that on
He
like
does.
every planet because he always has he knows all the tidbits about the cultures and things.
Yeah.
He's an studious boy.
Yeah, he's nerding out on Star Trek stuff, just like us,
Yep.
effectively. He's a kind of a proxy for the audience in a lot of ways. Okay,
He's
back
lying in blood or blood wine, same
or
diff.
Bloodline. Back to the Cerritos, where these food critics from the Cloacan dignitaries show up.
They're bodyguards.
Oh, they got their Secret Service, I guess, or whatever.
Yeah.
And they're just like food snobs. They're like, hello.
They just stand snobby all the time. Like
Yeah, they're like, there's too much carpet on the walls. And they're like, Adam Woodward told us this is not a good decor here on the ship. I thought they were hilarious.
Sir Lignog and Madame Gonald.
Yeah. Is that
let's just say there's a reason nobody after TNG used carpeting.
There's carpeting everywhere, on the walls, on the ground, on the ceiling. Of course, we see here that Miglamo introduces himself, and they're shocked to see us somebody in Starfleet here. A Cloacan in Starfleet?
A Cloacan in Starfleet? Shouldn't you be discovering new soups and stews?
I've encountered a few chowders.
Shouldn't you be discovering new soups and stews?
Come on, everybody, get snobby.
Hello. Hello.
This is your finest soup. I thought I just ordered a stew.
Miglamo's just like, aren't they amazing and glorious?
Aren't they
yeah.
wonderful?
Yeah.
Hmm.
But Captain Freeman hates them right away.
Oh, her line later is freaking hilarious.
Yeah.
I'd like to
Like
point out
near the end.
that Legnog is voiced by the great Sam Witwer.
Sam Witwer from I know he was on that show Being Human, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was also in Battlestar Galactica.
Oh yeah,
and
yeah, he was.
He's
Does a lot of voices for another space IP that is relatively famous.
ones with
He
glowing
was-
swords.
He was the vampire in the American Being Human, right?
I think, yes. I didn't watch it, but I think that sounds right.
Yeah, it was
Sure.
good.
They also have oh, what's her name? She's from Discovery. She played the female Klingon in Discovery.
Oh yes, she's it's not doesn't say who she is, but I imagine she's that Alara
You mean
or
Laurel?
Kalara. Yes.
Oh, check who that is.
Mary
So we-
Chieffo.
Mary
Yeah,
Chieffo,
Mary
yeah.
Chieffo, that's her name.
Yeah. They like her a lot, so I could buy that she was here. So we go back to Kronos, the Oversight Council chambers, where we get this little run in here with the hover bikes and the Experience Beige.
You experience bees.
Experience beige!
You experience beige!
I haven't
This is my favorite.
experienced beige in so long.
That was a great line.
That was a great game.
Oh yeah.
I would love to see a Quonos version of Road Rash.
That'd be fun.
Just from the windburn.
Also, did anyone else notice that their bikes look similar to Lobo's bike?
Yes.
They're kind
They
of
look, they look like Space Ghost Rider, Cosmic Ghost Riders bike.
they're like bat lefts
No,
coming
it
off
looks
the
more
end
like
here.
Lobo's
and,
bike.
like,
Yeah,
know.
maybe.
I think I would want one of these,
Batless. I didn't notice that.
so you can stab somebody as you're going at them.
As you experience beige.
You experience bees.
You experience beige.
That just made my life so much happier to know that the Klingons say that to each other. It's like when they run, it's pissed off in traffic.
What's the translation of beige? Does anyone know?
Beige in the game is you just like have to lose a turn and like so it's just like being active.
Punish, like experience
Yeah.
bees just to experience punishment.
Yeah, it's like a
Experience
punishment.
failure.
Right.
So we see here they go to the Oversight Council where this brother of the Klingon guy that Ma basically defeated last season, he mutinied against him. There's this other Klingon woman, and then there's this guy. He's from the second episode. I forget his name too, but he was the one who was in like the second episode of Lower Decks back in the first season. An old friend of Mariner's. He's got that Klingon eye patch going on,
He
and
threw out his back, gutting a Romulan spy.
right.
Horrid.
You know? So he had to take a desk job here. So he's on this Oversight Council. He immediately throws up into the fire pit because he hasn't
General
done sleeping.
Corinne.
Yeah,
Yes.
done sleeping
Yeah,
off last
correct.
night's feast, he says. And then he says, it's Mariner and Beamler, or whatever he calls. He calls Boimler the wrong name.
Oh, it's not even close. It's definitely not as close
It's
as
like
Beamler.
Bing Bong
It's-
or something.
Yeah, it's
It's like Bing Bong, whatever. And he's like, not my name, but I'm just happy to be remembered, you know? And so he's like, in here. So he's kind of friendly towards their cause here, but we see that this the guy who's the head of the council, he's not so much. He's much more hostile.
it's his fleet.
Oh yeah, it was Boimler who came up with that whole like, why don't we invoke the rite of something or like the ritual of something? And he
It's
was
the
like,
right
I know
of
the ways.
conscription.
And the
Yeah,
brother's
there's
like, yeah, he doesn't know what that is, so you don't need to worry. Like that was maybe my favorite part too, where the brother's just saying, yeah, like sometimes Klingons just BS themselves through most conversations, you know, about all these rituals and procedures and whatever else. And then we find out that they have to actually look this up in the texts to find out what the protocol here is. But this guy can get his captaincy back if he goes through these trials. And so this
Strength,
guy,
bravery, and sacrifice, isn't it?
I think so. So he's happy because he thinks he can manipulate the situation towards his ends. So he says, but you need 4 people. You need a group of 4 at least to go under this trial, and you only have 3. And so they have to go and get Ma's brother here.
Oh, Malor there.
Yeah, Molar, and he's dragged into this. I don't think he wants to at all. I don't know what does she have to do to convince him that he can. He'll pay him Darsex. So
Yeah, 1,000
she
Darsex, yeah.
I'll give you 1,000 Darsex. I'm in. Let's do it. So you can buy a Klingon, the right Klingon here too. So and Boimler's just happy to be going through all this. He's like, this is great. We could die. So back to the Cerritos, and
We just for a moment, I just want to say,
Yeah.
that man has glorious friendly mutton chops. As a representative of the FMC community, I just want to say that even though that council member on Konos got what he deserved, it's not the image, but the other one with the gray beard is that's the one. Yeah,
this guy.
he's Look at those friendly mutton chops. That is glorious work. The double
Yeah.
layer.
Muddins with Murphy. There you go. They got nothing on this Muddin. All right, let's go back to the Cerritos. Everything to do here with the Cloakins as they're about to be served a meal. Oh yeah, they don't like the light. It's too fluorescent in here. We can't put it up here. I think Captain Freeman says that it's been scientifically adjusted for them here.
Starfleet lighting has been scientifically attuned to suit all living beings.
They're like, well, then I'll just die of the
Perfect answer.
fluorescent hell.
Then I died and got into fluorescent.
Freeman's not in this episode a lot, but she's on point. This is good stuff.
They bring them a meal served by Miglamo, a steak of some kind, I think.
It was Kaiju, Medine beef loin, and
Mac and cheese with breading. With the breading on top.
With the breading on top. They take a bite. Of course, they have these utensils that they can use for such things, that like with a bird beak, and I don't know what those.
Oh yeah, it
dots
does
are
look
for.
like a bird beak. Yeah.
So they take
It's
out
for the pre-mastication.
right. They can even tear, and then they have a bite of this, and immediately, even before Carol's face there is hilarious. She's these Cloakins, you know. And they go, no, this is horrible. What did you do to us, Miglamo? He's like, it's replicated. It's one of the best meats.
Replicated?
You gave us replicated food? How dare you? This is unconscionable. We're going to write you down in the book of... Yeah, blasphemy. We're going to take you down here. And she faints there for dramatic effect. You know.
Well, yeah, the book of the flavorless.
You'll be added to the book of the flavorless. They even slap Miglamo, and Carol Freeman has to get involved. You can't slap my crew. Are you infringing on our sovereignty? You know. I assume
It's funny how they're all obsessed with food and it's their whole culture, and we just thought it was Miglamo, and Miglamo was weird.
Yeah, but no, he's actually kind of weird for them. He's like a little less
he's not a
obsessed with that
chef.
stuff. He's not a chef. Well, he is a chef of the mind.
It's a psychologist.
Total
Yeah.
Tobias Funke moment there.
Yeah.
I'm a psychologist, more of a chef of the mind.
Chef of the mind.
An analytical therapist.
Yes. I'm going to cook your mind. Whatever he says. Yeah. So anyway, he's like, well, I'm going to, Tandy says, we'll make them a new meal from scratch without the replicator and we'll win them back over. And Miglamo's all happy. So that's our transition.
No, he's devastated. He's like, what was I thinking? Now they'll write me into the book of the flavorless.
But then Tandy cheers him up right after saying, we'll have a plan and we'll make them something.
Okay.
And then back with the Klingon stuff, they got they're getting ready for the trials here. They have to go through the trials of pain, I believe, with the pain sticks. Oh, Boimler's loving every minute of it here.
He should have used some Delton parsley.
Yeah. With the long road going here, as we see those pain sticks are charged up. I think he describes it. You know, this is
but the last pain sticks are designed to kill you, so it's like
right.
The right of unending pain.
Unending pain.
This
is gonna be
the red
Klingon as
zone.
hell.
There's like no way to survive the red zone by yourself. It's like
No.
the most hilarious thing.
Yeah, you'll die if you go through there. So yeah,
I'll give you 1,000 parsecs. Oh, stand with Mark.
so they do this walk of shame, I guess, or walk of pride, getting zapped by the pain sticks all along the way. Some great shots here, with the brother and Boimler in pain too, but enjoying it as well, feeling like this is a rite of passage for him. He's masochist, This guy
Seemingly in this season. It's like new Boimler. He used to be afraid of things and sort of curse Mariner for getting him in trouble, but now he's just like all gung ho for everything, like even more than she is.
Yeah,
It's Brimbo for you.
There you go, Brimbo. That's what she.
Brimbo, yeah, that's it.
Yeah, Brimbo.
Yeah, not close, but I appreciate
Brimbo.
Right. So they eventually get to the red zone and they figure out that they if they all stand together, hug together, then the current will be distributed evenly through all four of them, and they can actually survive this. Which is probably why you need 4 people to do this trial or whatever it is. They do that, but Ma is skeptical as they go through this, and they do eventually pass through. Which this guy is shocked by. This guy was trying to get them to fail, and they're ready for the next trial. I think maybe they go through a few more times before they finally collapse. This guy's happy. So, Ma not super excited that he's moving on to the next trial, but we'll figure that out. And then back on the Cerritos, they're making up this dinner. Tendi is using up her slice and dice skills quite well here, as she's got her
Assassin training.
Yeah, exactly. You got Boimler or Rutherford using his implant to try to get the soup right.
Pungent and astringent.
Yeah, very pungent. Carol Freeman, as they're making this, what do they call it? A hogfish, I think. Or something like that. Like, it does not look appetizing. I can tell you that.
Better than some Klingon food I've seen.
I don't think it's Klingon.
Hogfish.
Yeah.
Oh.
I think it's just like a thing. Yeah. Carol's like, oh, I don't know. They're getting ready for the whole dinner here. They bring in the Klowakan dignitaries, very snobby, as they are served this hogfish head, I guess.
Yeah, Narn hogfish.
Yeah, with its tongue, and they're very excited. It's the most pungent dish in all of the galaxy. They of course take another bite. What is that? The fruit garnish?
It's like the berry of it.
Yeah, but they immediately go, "This has no salt." He goes, "It's covered in salt." They throw the whole dish at him, and he is humiliated and disgraced even more so than he had been. And then he's Carol Freeman starts to stand up for him, but they're like, "No, you can't do anything." And Miglamo gets dragged away here by their guards. It's not looking good for him. I also, by the way, love the bow ties on Rutherford and Tendi in this scene as they're trying to help out with the serving. It's a nice touch. Back at the Klingon planet, we get the next trial, which is this massive Targ that shows up.
Yes, I love Targs.
that's a big targ.
That's a big tag.
Yeah.
That's got to be around max targ size.
Well, yeah, that's like we don't have an animal like on Earth that size. That's like a dinosaur size almost, right? Like I guess like maybe a
Elephants are bigger than that.
elephant. Okay, like an elephant. This is like an elephant
An
size.
African elephant.
Yeah, sized targ, which then chases them around. I think Boimler ends up being the one to like jump onto it here and like try to wrangle it out as he gets dragged.
Yeah, when he
around
jumps
this-
on and makes that little thumbs up, he just like
Yeah.
makes this like silly sound. It's like
You know, but from what we saw of that jaw, they're lucky they're not fighting a bush. What do they call that thing again?
devil.
Bush devil.
Bush devil, yeah.
Yeah,
Klingons probably do
man.
have some scarier animals than a giant targ.
Well, I
find
mean,
out
what's
that
a saber bear look like?
Yeah.
Martok goes hunting saber bear.
I was
Like,
hunting
if
a
that's
saber.
their pig equivalent, what does their bear look like?
Yeah.
Mm.
I think that they figure out because he starts like giving them orders to like start grooming my targ, and then we find out that this is just this guy's pet targ that they've wrangled up, kind of rodeo style here.
Yeah, because he wants him to do his nails and express
Yeah.
the anal glands.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he gets all excited about it too.
Lord's like, I've expressed hundreds of anal glands.
Yes. So I'm trying to, we get the
Killed my
next
brother.
trial is announced here, which is one of them has to be selected for death in the next trial. So Ma chooses himself, which they're like, well, this whole thing was about to get you back your captaincy, Ma. So that's not a great plan, but that's what he goes for. He's about to be executed here, as the sacrifice. Is this another test? Was this meant to be another test, or was this just how it works? Anyway.
Yeah, this is the sacrifice test. Like, you had to sacrifice something.
Sacrifice
That's
something.
the third.
Somebody or somebody. Doesn't matter.
Yeah,
who.
well, they've decided somebody. So,
Yeah.
but
He
Uh,
just sacrificed himself.
that's probably why there's 4 of them, because one of them has to be killed at the end.
Right. So Ma explains that he, after he was kind of thrown off of his ship and like he out of the military, that he, is almost better off feeling, because he did not like serving under this guy. He's a dishonorable commander, but that's how it works when you sign up to be in the Klingon military. You don't get to choose who your superior officer is, and if they're a bad one, then they are. So there's kind of this whole thing, but I think Boimler gets him to sort of come around here, and then these guys show up.
He's like, stop being a cock.
Stop being a ka. Boimler knows so much about Klingon lore, more than these Klingons do, that he's able to really help them along here and kind of figure out what they want to do. Then we go back to Cloaca, the Cloacan nest world, not home world. And as I guess Miglemo's getting ready for his disgrace down on the planet. You got to see here from the Legnog and Golnold Eat the Galaxy, trying Klingons' most disastrous bloodworms, redacting to the most repulsive space snacks, and reviewing Chez de Sal's worst dishes, taste testing the most revolting foods around the galaxy. That's what the Cloacans are about. That's what their blog is publishing.
All about finding food and soups, and they've been basically lying about like all their food because they keep saying everything's terrible.
He's found a few chowders.
I've discovered a few chowders.
Chowder. Chowder.
It's chowder.
Say chowder.
Chowder.
I will not.
Say it, Frenchie.
So they show up to that Klingon commander's room while he's sleeping, and they say, "Guess what? We've read the fine print of the Klingon text, and somebody has to die, but it doesn't have to be one of the group, and we can challenge to ritual combat, basically." And so Ma is like, "I challenge you," and like that, it is on as the fight begins, and we get a duel here between these two, which I thought was pretty good action, for animation purposes. I think it played out pretty well. This is almost like one of those Vulcan weapons, but with more spikes and, more mean looking.
A bit of Klingon flair.
With a Klingon flair as they're going at it here. I think Ma eventually gets the best of him, right? Oh yeah, he says,
Yeah,
"I yield, I yield," and then they're like, "Okay, well, he's going to surrender here." I think does he have to kill him?
Well, yeah. So he basically he takes over, which
Conscripts him.
makes him a part of his crew, which he now chooses him to die, unless he makes him a captain or whatever. He's like,
He
okay,
basically
yeah,
gives
I'll
him an
do that.
ultimatum, right?
Yeah, and he starts to walk away from him before Buddy really agrees to it, which he then does that and stabs him through the back.
Yeah, get that pinkish reddish blood. Gotta love that. As Ma gets it through the back here, he seems to be down, but then he pulls himself up, pulls the spear out of his back, and then goes at this guy once again, stabbing him right through the heart, or maybe the hearts, as he dies on his chair. Here,
Sends him straight to Stovecore.
I was sending you straight to Faklar. I think what he was up for here. And Ma's like, I've won, but I'm still very hurt from being stabbed by this spear. As we see here, he's good. He's going to be reinstated. He's going to be made a captain again. And then there's this whole thing with the space hole. You fought alongside me.
You fought alongside me, had your life threatened, all to scan a space hole?
I mean, it's a really interesting hole.
It's a really interesting hole, So
There is that.
There is that. And so Ma and his brother decide that he knows what ship he's going to command. He's got to go back home, basically. We'll get back to that. Back with the Cloacans. They're bringing back Miglamo, I guess, to serve out his sentence for flavorlessness or whatever he's accused of. We see that there are many different like feather colors of these Cloacans, in this one episode.
Well, they are birds.
Yeah,
they are birds, but
that lines up with birds.
Don't most birds of a species, aren't they the same?
I mean, no. I mean, the males and females can be completely different.
The males and females are different in a lot of species, but
you have to see them as probably more of like a genus, like say a bird of paradise, for example. There's many types of birds of paradise. It's probably something more like that, right?
Okay. I'm curious. Well, so this is where they run their little subterfuge here, where they're like, "Here, we brought you some oysters to taste," and they eat the oysters and they go, "Oh, these are so good," but then they find out that these are not real oysters at all. They're actually made of poop that Tendi brought.
It's just actual poop. It's just poop, and they pretended to love it.
Bag with it's a Starfleet issue icing bag.
Replicated poop.
Replicated poop.
A touchback to the Star Trek Discovery reference, if you will.
It's kind of thrown revealed here that these Cloacans actually they don't have a sense of taste and they're frauds and they've been pretending the whole time. And then they go into their they what do you call this when your feathers go like this?
Plumage.
They get puffed up.
Right. Well, and then Miglamo goes into his whole psychoanalysis. He's like, you thought you were better, but you're not. And you got it all there. It's therapy.
Therapy, my good Donald. I cook the mind.
I cook the mind. I love that. As he's like, I will help you with your psychological problems. And sort of smooths things over. And everyone's happy. What a happy ending here for Cloacans. As all of this has been sorted out. And then back with the Klingon farm, as if we kind of close out this story. We see that giant Targ, I guess, has now joined their farm and been inherited by the mob and his brother. They have taken over the shuttle, which is... He says that this is what Kalis used to command? Or no, Martok. Martok started off on a shuttle like this.
Down in the Kentalolans.
In the Kentalolans. We're finding more about these dimensional rifts, which I'm guessing are going to continue to be a recurring plot line in this series or this particular season. So we'll see where that goes. And what else? I think that's kind of
probably just Agamus and Peanut Hamper at it again.
Oh, probably. We thought it was them last season, and it wasn't. So they have to bring those two back. And they get back to work. Oh, yeah, they get to put the tusks back on, or the teeth or the jaw bones back onto the shuttle. And he's like, my greatest challenge will be turning my brother into a warrior. This will be very honorable. Yes.
They
I agree.
call each other Chudich, and then split ways.
Hey Chadich. And that is sort of the end of the episode. So I know it took me a while to run through it, but there was a lot of good stuff in there. So I guess, any like sort of high level thoughts, Justin, like, for this episode, how much did you
I
enjoy
loved it. I loved
Loved
the spattering of Klingon thrown in. I love that when challenged, the old dickweed on the council was like, "This is Jalth," which means this is soup, which in that context means that it's nonsense. I don't know. I really liked it. I enjoyed the whole thing. I love lore episodes, and this one was Klingon heavy and Kolwaka heavy. I don't know how comfortable I feel with
I
saying
don't know,
that
like
phrase.
my mileage sometimes varies with Miglamo in some past episodes, but this one I thought he was hilarious. I thought this is maybe my favorite.
He hit his stride in this one, I think.
Yeah, for sure. I don't know if there's any kind of trivia to speak of with this particular episode. Other than we got a ton, like we found out how blood wine was made. We found out what that experience beige is an insult.
You experience beige.
Yeah, so there was a lot of things like confirmed or sort of like revealed here.
I'd like to think that scene where he's stomping the gach into blood wine is a throwback to a very important person in Star Trek history, Lucy.
Oh, here I do have some
from
facts.
The I Love
guys.
Lucy episode where she's doing the grapes.
Just for some Delta details. At the bartender says he has nothing to serve but bagol. Bak means terminate. Gol means opponent. Thus, bagol, a liquor that terminates an opponent. Cha means two, so chadich means second. Beige is either the verb to punish or the noun punishment. So you experience punishment. Ma refers to the pub as pu gyek. Pu means dregs. Keg means barrel. Negeh means to traffic in something illegal. Ural. This is a lot of like Klingon translation here. Ural means traitor. The suffix pu denotes the plural for sentient beings or beings capable of speech. Martok killed 12 traitors in a bar of the same chain, but at the Ketha Lowlands. Darsex are the Klingon currency, as referenced in this episode. Faklar is the devil or demon in Klingon mythology that guards the gates of Grethor, who was, I think, murdered by Kalis here, wasn't he? Here we go.
Once Kalis made it across the field, he tore the thorns from his legs, and he used them to kill Feklar. Oh, it was badass.
Yes, I know all about Kalis' Thorn murders.
I know all about Kalis' Thorn murders. And Talin does not appear in this episode, is our last little bit of details discovered.
At the end, it's pretty funny when someone says to Freeman, it's just like, well, isn't that exploitation? But Miglamo just proposed to those two Klawakans. And Freeman's just like, yeah, but those two are dicks. So okay.
Yeah. I cooked the mind.
No, she's like, let him have this W. Those guys are lame.
Yeah, basically. Okay, well, let's throw in our ratings here, everybody, and see how much we really liked this episode. Justin, how much did you love it?
I'm going to give it an 8. Going to go in with an 8.
Okay. Murphy.
I was going to give this episode a 10, but the more I thought about the Miglamo stuff, I'm going to deduct a point because I'm not a fan of the whole B storyline. It was basically the same joke played over 3 times, and it felt like filler throughout the rest of the episode. All the good stuff was the A storyline with the Klingons and the lore and Boimler and Mariner and stuff. Mostly just the Klingon lore and all that stuff. So I had the most fun with that. So I'm gonna give it a 9.
9 from Murphy. Okay. Davan.
10.
10.
Best of the season. I gotta go.
Okay. Thank you.
All right.
Bye.
Later.
Bye.
Great episode. Could have given it an 11, perhaps, but easy 10.
Yeah, I'm somewhere in between a 9 and a 10. So I think I'm gonna go 9.5. I think I'm pretty strong. I think like it's kind of what I want from a Lower Decks episode in almost every way. I think like maybe just a little bit more emotional or like something a little deeper would probably hit me home. But like this still had some of that. It just had a lot more humor as well. So which I guess is what the only thing I would deduct. So this has we're averaging a 9.1 between the four of us right now. This has as of right this moment a 7.8 on IMDb with about 67 votes. So there you go. So we're averaging 8.5 with them. And so yeah, it seems like we liked this episode quite a bit. Murphy, if you want to let me know what you thought of the other 3 episodes before this, feel free.
7, 8, and 6.
wow.
Those are my ranks for those ones.
Okay. And so, with that said, now we definitely like this episode the most of the season, because you just brought down the score for episode 1. So yeah, with all that said, I think we can close the book on this one, guys. And I'm kind of
Right.
where do you think what do you think will be coming up next?
What's the title of the next episode?
Starbase 80.
Ooh, I think.
Well, I guess we get to finally find out what's all about Starbase 80.
Yeah, I think we might start seeing the hints of the alternate universe pay off a little bit on Starbase 80.
Well, yeah, we know that the alternate Carol Freeman went to Starbase 80. So maybe we'll see her in this next episode.
What if it's the alternate Carol Freeman that's causing all these punches through the space-time continuum?
What if the big bad of the season is like an alternate dimension Carol Freeman? That could be fun. Like a little unexpected as well. Yeah, there's a lot to think about with that. I don't know. I keep getting a little bit more depressed when I find out that I think about this being like the last season, and I feel like this show has so much more to give, and that's
could be easily made for another 5 more seasons.
And then I think about The Simpsons, and they're still making episodes. I don't know who watches them, but somebody does, I guess. And that's more successful still, or that's still profitable.
This could be Star Trek fandom's Simpsons.
Yeah, well, that's I think that's why they made this show in the first place, and I think that's what they were hoping it was going to be as popular like The Simpsons, at least among Star Trek fans. And I just think that it's kind of amazing how many of the my brother kind of hasn't kept up with it. A lot of people haven't kept up with it, seemingly. Maybe because it's animated. I don't know if animation is sort of holding some of these back, like it was with Prodigy.
Could be.
But anyway, I don't know. I want more. If they make a movie or something.
I don't think this season is the end of these characters. I think something will be announced, either at the finale or beforehand, that will tell us what the next step is. But I don't think this is the last we're going to see of the Cerritos and her crew this season. I firmly don't believe that. I have more faith in some of the executive decision making at Paramount than that. Mind you, if I'm wrong, I will experience beige.
Yeah,
I'm thinking you're going to experience beige. I honestly, there doesn't seem like there's anything written in the stars about this property continuing beyond the current format of comic books that it seems to have. That's really the only future foreseeable for any type of Lower Decks content in these characters. Because all of the actors are we would love to keep doing this. They've all expressed deep remorseful interest to keep doing these characters and this show, and it's just
well,
it's not. I believe it's not happening because of the fact that Paramount and such sold all the Star Trek property to the company that did the J.J. Abrams films,
Bad
Sundance
Robot?
or something like that. Not Bad Robot.
Sundance.
I don't know if they're called Sundance. I could be forgetting their name, but the company was bought out recently in the past 6 months. There's that whole thing that the franchise of Star Trek was bought out, and I believe the fact that this show is ending has something to do with that, and the fact that basically they're showing more focus on Starfleet Academy, because that's really going to be the new show under the new company owned banner. And
That's not coming out
like,
for another year, but
yeah, and that's exactly what I'm saying. That's not coming out for another year, which is going to give them time to end everything they got going, probably get one more season out of Strange New Worlds, and then move on.
do you think they want to like just start a whole new sort of era, or sort of like come out strong and like kind of, you know, shelve as much as they can? Because Strange New Worlds, everyone seems to like it, but and people seem to like Lower Decks, but you know, but the popularity isn't there. It feels like, you know, and I feel like they want it. How does Star Trek get it back? Is what they have to be asking themselves now. They come out with this new Starfleet Academy show, and maybe everyone loves it, but I think it's like, how do you bring in a new audience is going to be the question. Like, you know, or even bring back the old audience that maybe has tuned out over time. And
Paul Giamatti.
Is it Robert Picardo on the poster, you know, or whatever?
Yeah, Robert Picardo, Paul Giamatti. You got She-Hulk coming
part of
into
it
the
too?
cast. Yep, she's coming into the cast.
Tatiana Maslany or whatever.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah, I know that Rob Ricardo was just doing an interview on TV Ontario the other day, and so yeah, I guess, you know, he's probably here to shoot the show, or at least, you know, do something with the show. But he says he's the 900-year-old version of the Doctor. So I guess, you know, I keep wondering if he's going to be the Doctor from that episode's called Living Witness, or if he's going to be the actual, like the Doctor who got back to Earth with the rest of them. So
I feel like it's going to be the one that gets back to Earth. It's just a matter of like, will there be any tie-ins or nods to Prodigy? And it kind of feels like that won't be the case, because again, it feels like they just kind of put Prodigy in the closet and they're like, whatever. Even though that's one of the best Star Trek series out there.
Yeah, like I loved Prodigy too. It's very different than this show, but you know, it was very Star Trek-y, you know, and I just feel like they're like, well, nothing is really like setting the world on fire, so, you know, let's put all our eggs into Starfleet Academy. But if that show doesn't blow up, then I don't know what they're gonna do, you know. So
yeah, that's the thing. It's like, oh, then do they go back to trying to make movies? Like, no, movies aren't what we want. We want shows. And I think that's also, they're gonna sort of parlay and see how things go with the Section 31 film. They're really banking a lot off of Michelle Yeoh's Oscar status.
Right.
And they're trying to use this as a neutral point for a lot of new people to the Star Trek universe. Like, I've got friends that, like, I think would like Star Trek, but they haven't given it the time of day, you know. And it's just like me trying to be like, okay, well, check out Lower Decks or Strange New Worlds. That's really good. That's fresh. It'll sort of bite you into it, and you can then go back and check out like TNG and Deep Space Nine and Voyager. And just sort of accept the silliness as it is, but there's good gems of human storytelling in all of Star Trek. So
Absolutely. Well, you know, we'll see how it plays out. Justin, any final thoughts from you?
Liked it. Really hope that I am not just high on hopium, with this being continuous, and just a reminder to everyone out there that despite what the Borg tell you, resistance is never futile.
Right. Exactly. Well, check out all our great content here on Live Long and Podcast. We're doing review shows all the time. We just wrapped up season 1 of Star Trek: The Next Generation rewatch with the Neutral Zone. We will be coming back with season 2 probably once Lower Decks ends, or when Strange New Worlds ends. I'm not even quite sure when Strange New Worlds will start, if it will overlap with Lower Decks or not. But depending on what it is, we'll figure that out. And then on Monday, we're back with the Orville. We're doing season 2, episodes 8 and 9, titled Identity. Look out for that. You know, it's a good two-parter from one of the only two-parters, really, from the Orville. So look out for that. And I think those are all the plugs. Of course, the United Federation of Podcasts, lots of great things going on. Trivial Debates and Hold Up, and all the shows are going strong. Hey, did you see this one? They're on tonight, talking Nick Cage movies.
Leaving Las Vegas.
Leaving Las Vegas.
Ooh.
So. Yeah, and I was just on last night with Jason and Jaemeel and Jeff talking Survivor over on the Super Mater Brothers channel. Good season of Survivor so far. So if you're into those kinds of shows, let us know. Check out all the great content here in the Federation. And with that, we'll sign off for the night, and we'll leave you with this quote. Thanks to Justin, thanks to Davan and Murphy for being with us, and we will see you next time for Starbase 80.
A Cloacan without a sense of taste is no Cloacan at all.
Beam up some Star Trek content with Live Long and Podcast. Tune in to X-Rated, the X-Men animated review show. Artistic interviews with graphic histories. A roundtable movie discussion with Hey, did you see this one? And movie reviews with Hold Up, a movie podcast. And while you're at it, spin a few records with Eamon on Track. Watch us duke it out on trivial debates. And let's chat about TV with the Super Mater Brothers. It's all here on the United Federation of Podcasts.